Welcome to Medieval Kingdom Wars, a new grand strategy game from our indie studio. Let me introduce you to the inglorious 100 Years' War. Today, well, it's 1419, and England is making its big move to capture Paris. The English king is Henry V, and he holds the doddering old French king, Charles VI, as hostage. You can see Paris is a huge, meticulously recreated copy of the actual medieval city. Our goal is to recreate all the large towns of medieval Europe with this kind of detail. There's truly some breathtaking stuff here. That's worth defending, right? In history, the French heir apparent was Charles VII, and it took him quite a while to get any real military skills under his belt. You're Charles VII here, and you're getting ready to defend Paris, and you've already got your act together, because, well, unlike Charles, you've been playing these kinds of games for years, right?
Longbows, string them.
You know the English are coming, and you're getting ready to make them regret contaminating France with their tea and crumpets. The game involves fixed forces, as well as base building. So first, let's get our existing garrison troops onto the walls and into the towers. As well as making the best of the existing garrison, we also need to build up the infrastructure of Paris and train new troops. When directly controlling the city, as opposed to working from the world map, the combat infrastructure and micromanagement of the economy come into play. There are resources that have to be managed. Stone, iron, wood, and food are the basic ones, but there are 17 resources altogether which can fire up your economy or, in their absence, leave you with your own medieval version of the Great Recession. Now the French player is taking care of some last-minute military preparations and recruiting as many troops as we can afford. It's a tricky thing to pull off because every soldier has to get paid, and that means raising taxes on your citizens. Every soldier has to be fed, and that's food you're taking away from your citizens. We just moved from the autumn into the winter of 1419-1420. While we prepare for the arrival of the enemy force, we have time to take care of other events around the kingdom. Even a minor lord will have several villages, towns, and battles to manage simultaneously. You can manage some towns directly, while also supervising the rest on the world map. But that often angers the population. Nobody likes their boss micromanaging every bathroom break and phone call, right? Looks like the English are sending a force across the channel. Our last remaining ships should try to intercept them, or the English will get reinforcements in the middle of their siege. Naval combat in the Middle Ages was all about boarding enemy vessels with boats tied in a floating, blood-soaked archipelago. We might not win this battle, but at least we'll slow them down while we defend Paris. Now it's early spring, and here comes Henry V with his English army. The English set up their siege camp, and the French quickly get their outlying citizens behind the safety of the city walls. Let's leave the English a little surprise and lay oil pitch around the gates. The game unfolds in real time, whether you're getting ready to defend or opening a can of medieval whoop-ass on your neighbor. Other players, including AI players, might suddenly show up and add their 2 cents, or in this case their 2 sous, or 2... never mind. Okay, here we go. Light 'em up, boys. The battle is basically a free-for-all, with siege towers, mantlets to protect your soldiers, trebuchets, battering rams. You've got your onslaught of archers, flaming arrows, you know, your basic medieval nightmare. Now we're looking at some of the gritty, blood-soaked combat you'll be experiencing.
We are ready to serve.
And the desperate defenders dash to get a few more troops recruited.
Awaiting your orders.
The English have broken through the walls.
My lord,
Defending player pulls back into the city. Now, instead of siege combat, it's hand-to-hand, building-to-building street fighting.
Longbows, be alert.
The defenders are whipping together their street barricades. Les Miserables, anyone? And those barricades are formidable obstacles.
Stand ready.
Historically, the Burgundians showed up now to help the English. But has England been taking care of her diplomatic relations? The challenge is not to screw it up the way so many of the actual historical figures did. You get to rewrite European history, or if you're not careful, get yourself written out of European history. This is 100 years of war for you to get lost in.